Yesterday, I went and picked up a bunch of parts. Got a trash pump, bunch of hoses, loaded up the pressure washer and some various stuff. Went and got a tote here locally. Somebody's obviously always selling these things all over the internet. So got a water tank. And now I'm fixing to go pick up some more parts. I got to get some oil and stuff like that so we can start working on this dozer. So, all right, I'm off. We're at the toy store. More like a candy store, but you can't afford to buy anything. Well, I can't. I have to buy, when it comes to this stuff, I gotta buy more of the used variety. So we had to come to John Deere today because we gotta buy $1,000 worth of oil. But man, look at this thing. Holy cow. This thing's used, but pretty lightly used. Thing looks new. Little 50G. This is nice. This is a brand new unit right here. So, since it's wet this morning, we'll probably go back to the house and work there a little bit. Maybe. If it looks like the rain's gonna hold off, we'll just go start working. But Zach's loading our John Deere oil. I know there's a cheaper way to do this. You could just go to Tractor Supply, buy their oil. But the bottom line is this is John Deere. It's made for this, so this is what we're using. So all right, here we go. We're back on the road. All right, we're back at the property. We got the side-by-side unloaded, got the truck unhooked, and Zach is running up to the storage up there to get some fuel. And I'm going to start working on this water pump, and then we're going to put some water in that tank. All right, we're down here by our little creek. We got a pump, and we're going to try to see if we can suck some water up here. Looks like that'll work. We are pumping uphill a little bit, so I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work, or we're going to have to take the hose down there and actually get the hose full of water or something. This pump is new, hasn't been started, but it's got to be primed, so let's see what that entails. Probably going to take another one.
Yep.
Yeah, heck, as a matter of fact, as we fill this, it might even start filling this hose up or something.
There's a little uphill on the hose right there, so
yeah,
it should keep the pump full.
Should keep the pump full. We'll see. I hope this works.
Me too.
Hope this works because we need water today. Oh, I'm just starting to see it. It's just to the top of the hose. Well, this is where we're going to try it. We'll try it. This should get it full or close.
Say that's full.
All right, it's got gas in it. It's got oil in it. Will it run? Will it start? It's a Harbor Freight, so it's just like starting a 50-year-old bulldozer that ain't running 10 years.
The bulldozer probably be easier. All right, so gas is on, and it's in the start position. Oh, let's find out.
Give her a little chokey choke.
Yep.
Ooh, it pulls like it's got no compression.
Yeah. I don't know how good that is.
Not even so much as a sputter yet. Might need to go up, get some ether out of the toaster.
Yeah.
Don't yank on that Chinese cord too much, it might pop off. I can smell gas, so it might, you might just take the choke off and pull it and see what happens.
Choke's off.
All right, let me pause this thing so I can help pull. All right, so the first thing that you always want to do when you're having an issue is to stop and diagnose the problem. And although these engines are more than likely junk, I will say this. If they're not on, she knows Sparky.
She knows Sparky.
It's got some fuel in it. All right, put a little turtle in it.
There we go.
Oh, it looks like it's trying to pump water too. Yep. Let's see if it's got enough to pump up a hill. Not yet. Yeah, this thing gonna have to be, there we go. Oh man, that thing snapped out of my hand and took right off, and it's still kinked up pretty good, and it's still it's pumping pretty good for
It's sucking the water down around it, so it's not in the water anymore.
yeah. So at this point, this thing is filling up real quick. So yeah, that's a win. So listen, kids, turn the ignition switch on, it'll fire right up. All right, we're done. We got 3/4 of a deal here and just took a couple minutes, so that's pretty good. It's all good. Everything worked perfect, so. All right, we're gonna load this stuff up, get up top. We made it up, we got the trailer unloaded. Just put everything here in our little storage shed. Threw that in there. Zach's getting some of the big chunks off of here before we start actually washing. Get that done, and gotta pull some of the covers off the floor. Get ready to start cleaning. We gotta get the pressure washer hooked up to the tank, and off we go. I'm trying to get some video in between the raindrops, but it's been raining pretty bad since we've been here, and we've learned a couple things, and you know, this is not going to go well daily. So we had to let some water out of the tank to get it off the trailer. This particular pressure washer, either it broke just sitting, something happened to it, or there's not enough pressure gravity feeding out of the tank into this. So we're going to take this home with us tonight, and we're going to hook it up at the houses where it's got some water pressure and see if it actually works. On the other hand, the whole reason why we were here to start getting this thing cleaned up so we could service it. Zach's pulling some of the panels off. We're pulling floor panels and cleaning up some stuff with some screwdrivers and stuff, knocking big chunks off, and then we'll it's nasty in there, but we're gonna get all that cleaned up, and we're gonna get this figured out. But I'm hoping that the pressure washer is not broke, and maybe we can just put a water pump in between the tank and the pressure washer to feed the pressure washer properly. So all right, let's get finished getting this stuff apart. All right, that's not good. I think that'll slide out of there, Zach. That right there is just it's not tight. Or maybe if you pick that up a little bit, I think the nut.
Oh, it'll slip out the front.
Yeah, I think it'll slip out either way. So, there's that guy. All right. Holy cow, man, there's some real heavy equipment in there. that's some heavy duty looking shit right there. The problem that I see with this is, where's the filter at?
On the bottom?
No.
Oh. Maybe we gotta lift the seat. The seat comes out too, I think. Or it hinges forward or something. Might be under the seat.
Start pulling on it. See what happens. Nothing that way. This is underneath that panel right there, so that's not gonna. Oh, there we go. Oh man, that's dirty. So there's what actuates the brake.
Yep, so those are that right there, that tank per se, its case, those are the clutch brake drum housings.
Yep.
And the final drives are right on the outsides of those. Transmission.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing, that damn fuel line don't look super. Kind of janky looking. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Zach, is where where's the hose that feeds? There's some kind of a hose right here, a big hose that's right in here that goes straight down.
Yep.
Where's that hose go?
It's
Where's it go up here? Does it go into that tank?
Yep, goes right inside the tank. That hose, there's the one on.
So that must be maybe the feed to the pump?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's right in the bottom of the tank. Right out of the bottom of the tank, directly down through there, it goes, stops, and it's a rubber hose from here to there, and then I think it's that steel line that runs next to the transmission.
These almost look like there's some kind of plugs that go down to, I don't know what. Some kind of an adjustment. I don't know what those.
I might have to adjust the bands or something.
Maybe. Well, we got panels off this thing, and I don't know any more now than I did when the panels were on it.
Hopefully, pressure washing will.
Pressure washing might open up some possibilities, maybe. I'm in desperate need of a service manual. I know that would clear a lot of this stuff up. And I see the drives. I see the fill, and I think I see the drain for the main drives. I am back. Brought a pump, brought some more tools that I've got to come up here. Or basically just kind of bringing things as I come. So yesterday, I think our biggest enemy yesterday was that it just absolutely poured rain all day. Me and Zach were out here yesterday in the pouring down rain, and that was just, it was horrible. So went shopping this morning. It's a little late today for me to show up here, but I got to get something done every day. So I'm going to start unloading, and then we'll start working on the pressure washer. Subsequently that. So off I go. Unloading boxes and tools. And that's what I'm going to start with right now. I got this stuff set up. So yesterday, when I thought we were going to use the gravity from this to supply this with enough water to run and make pressure. And like most things in my life, I learned a lesson. That don't work. So I took the pressure washer home, hooked it up to the city water, and it worked fine. So that led me to believe that we need pressure feeding that thing, not just whatever little bit of pressure that gravity was feeding it. So I went and bought a pump. The pump I'm running off of my generator. So here's what we're going to do. I've got it all hooked up. I'm going to fire everything up and see what happens. See if this thing actually does something. I don't should. Let's hope it makes pressure like a pressure washer should. Normally, you'd get water out of this from if it were hooked to the house. And it's not doing that, so that's not a good sign. Well, that didn't work. So I'm gonna try one thing before I completely abandon this and try something different. And here's what I'm gonna do. This hose, it was really wound up tight and it's got a bunch of little kinks in it. I don't really know if the kinks are enough to stop the water flow enough where maybe it's not supplying this pump good enough. And therefore, I mean, after I let the pump run and came over here and messed with the hose, it actually did get better. So maybe if I cut this line real short and put that thing right here where it doesn't have a kink in it, right there, I'll try that and we'll see what happens. So let me go cut the hose apart and try that. All right, I think this is like round 3. So you can see I took this whole section of kinked pipe out. I cut it right at the first kink. So it's all this hose is 3/4 inch. So it's a straight shot of 3/4 inch. Turn the water on. Get this little pump running. It sounds different, I'll tell you that. It sounds different, so let's see what happens here on this end. Well, it is better, but it doesn't work. So here's another option. This tank is getting real low. Maybe if I had this tank full, that pump would pump enough to actually make this work. I'm not sure. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and at least utilize a little bit of the time I have here, and I'm gonna do a little bit of pressure washing. I'm gonna try it the best I can. I just want to start getting something done. to knock some of this stuff off with a pry bar or something. It's pretty thick in places. All right, a little update as far as the pressure washer is concerned. I have used about all of the water that's in it. It's right here. I actually moved it around the corner to get it angled down. It's pretty empty. As I've gone, it took about 5 minutes, but I don't know what happened. It just wouldn't pressure wash to begin with, and then all of a sudden it works fine. It's perfect. So I mean, I don't know what the story was, but hey, it's all good. So I got a bit of a muddy mess here. We're getting clean. I'm working on the belly pan under there. I'm working on the transmission. Now, let me tell you, this is an old piece of equipment. This thing is a 1985. It runs good. Everything functions, but it does have some issues. Now, just from pressure washing it, this thing has a seal out of it where the track adjuster is. So that's going to be a problem, because when I go to adjust the tracks on this, which they really don't need it, but at some point, I don't know how it's going to keep tension on the tracks when there's seals missing out of it. So that's something that's going to have to be dealt with. Another thing, you see that bolt right there is backing out? There's all kinds of little bolts and whatever. The worst thing is this pin is out. There's a bolt that goes all the way through this to hold it in. Let me show you the other side. See that bolt? It's right, it goes all the way through it. That's what holds that pin in, and that bolt has sheared off, or the nut fell off of it and it vibrated out, and that pin's coming out. And that's not really the worst part. I actually smacked that thing with a hammer a couple times and it does move. The worst part is this frame right here that bolts. It bolts to the side of the dozer frame, and it's what the bottom of the blade bolts to that. This thing's cracked right here, cracked right there, and it's cracked 3/4 of the way down it. So I gotta fix this pin, that's the easy part. What I may do for now, because is just get in here and weld this thing the best I can. And then someday at some point, these tracks are going to have to come off. It may even have to come off if this seal is all jacked up. This might have to come off anyway. I'll pull the track off, slide this wheel off, put a new seal in that. And if that's gone, I could definitely get in. If the track's off, I could probably pull this piece of the frame off. It looks like it's not that big of a deal. The problem with this stuff is it's just heavy. It's just big. You got to have an excavator to move the track, to pull the tracks off. You got to have an excavator to lift all this stuff off because it's so heavy. So, I mean, I don't have $200,000 to buy a dozer. but I do have enough money to buy some used shit. So here we are. So in buying a used dozer, you end up with little issues like this, and it's to be expected. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more washing, but I probably only have about 5 more minutes of washing left. And I can't fill this tank today because, well, number one, it's getting late. I can't fill the tank today because I didn't bring the trailer. So I'm just not going to deal with it. I could throw it in the back of the truck and go fill it, but it's getting late, and at some point I got to go home anyway. So anyway, here we go. About 5 minutes. I was right, about 5 minutes. So we're making a huge mess. We're not done yet, but there's a lot of grease and mud that are off. We still got a lot to do. I don't know if you can see that in there, but right in there, that is the like a belly pan, and I actually got it pretty clean. You can see that I'm getting somewhere in here. It's all turning yellow. So I'll be back to continue and figure out what I'm gonna do about some of these little issues I'm having while I'm servicing this thing. So all right, I'm going to clean up, put everything away, get out of here for the day. Thanks for watching, everybody.